Good morning, everybody. Morning musings here while I sip my tea and make my coffee. Healthy food is really expensive. I have this conversation with clients all the time, and I wish I could do a financial audit for them and have them zoom out to realize it's really not that much more expensive at all. You have to consider the big picture, but zoomed in on the micro when you're at the farmer's market buying the food and you spend $200 for a week of groceries. Like, wow, this is so much more than I would spend at Safeway or whatever. But you have to consider a lot of things. And one of them from the macro perspective is food is medicine. And so you may have insurance and may not have to actually sit there and think about the money that you're spending on medical bills and medical related expenses. But for example, I personally have a really, really healthy body and immune system and don't ever really get sick. I got sick in 2019, and before that I got sick in 2017, and before that 2015. So like every 2 years I get a seasonal flu, a head cold, and it passes after a week. But other than that, I haven't been to the doctor for any medical related expenses. I haven't bought any kind of medication or spent any money on anything because of any kind of sickness or illness or deficiency. And so that alone right there, like even if you're just paying for whatever, I don't even know what you call them because I don't have insurance or go to the doctor. It's like a premium or the deposit or whatever you pay, the like deductible, right? Something like that. And if it's like 50, $100 and you're getting sick a couple times a year, that's a few $100 every year right there, like, and then you zoom that out to bigger picture cancer treatment and other things that we know scientifically is proven to be related to lifestyle factors and nutritional deficiencies and toxicity overload, and all these things are related to the stuff that we put in our mouth and how we take care of our body. And so that's just one factor alone, but we're not even considering quality of life, right? Like eating shit food makes you sleep shittier, makes you recover less efficiently. You are what you eat in that sense. Like your bones and your tissues are made, your brain is made of cholesterol and of fatty acids and like things that you get from your food, like the resources, the building blocks, amino acids and proteins and things, like you're getting those from your food. And so if you're eating shit quality of those, you're having shit quality buildings and structures in your body, cells and organs and so on. Like you're made of that stuff. And so your quality of life and your performance overall, your productivity, everything is going to be less. So if, it's a loose example, I understand this, but if you're not able to perform at your best, you're not going to be able to go out and do as much work economically or efficiently, or quality of work, quality of life, quality of work. And so likely you're less likely to get promoted. You're probably not going to make as much money. You're not going to get as much done quite literally with the time. Like somebody that has higher energy, like when you have higher energy, can you get more done in 2 hours than when you have lower energy? Yes, duh. Like, right? So if you're eating higher quality food that's giving you higher quality energy, you can do more with the time that you have, regardless of how much time that is. It's not about the amount of time. The time is the set factor. It's the efficiency with the time that you have, the productivity. So if you're eating higher quality food, you're spending more money on, you're going to be making more money in theory. Again, loose correlation, but you understand my point here, where it's the return on investment that literally is not just for quality of life, but actually performance and money back in your pocket, because you're doing more and doing better with that same amount of time. And then I don't understand how people don't make this correlation with the time and money related to eating out. Like, if you go to a restaurant, how much money are you spending on average? Not considering your alcoholic drink that's $15 to go along with your food that's a fucking high fructose corn syrup, glyphosate ridden cocktail of toxins along with alcohol that's dehydrating you, and all this garbage that you're socially conditioned to believe is actually acceptable. First of all, and second of all, let's talk about the food. The food also trash, canola oil, highly processed. They're trying to make a budget, right? Like, that business is not concerned about your health as their number one factor. They're concerned about paying their employees and keeping their lights on. So the quality of the food is going to suffer because of that. And so they're buying shit ass quality food. And then you're comparing that plate versus your plate, where your food has olive oil and like high quality ingredients. And it's this, you're like, oh, well, it's like the same price, but it's totally different quality food. It's shit. And then we talk about the actual quantity. When I go to get food, I have to order 2 entrees because 4 to 8 ounces of meat is not a day's worth of food. That's not enough protein. That's not enough nutrients, right? Of just one example of like, and obviously this is, you talk to any chef, the whole point is to use carbohydrates and produce cheap goods to fill the plate so that way they don't spend as much money on the expensive stuff like meat, animal products. That's why back in the day they say eat like a king. It's that the kings, the royalty ate the animal products because they were the most expensive. Okay, and the farmers and the peasants, they ate the produce because it was cheap and you could just grow it really easily, grow a lot of it really cheap. It's more expensive because of the higher nutritional value of animal products like meat. So when you go to a restaurant and you order a $20, $25, $30, $35, $40, $45 plate of a salmon fillet, likely not wild caught. Maybe it is. If it is, that's that extra $15 that you're spending where you could go buy a pound of that from a fisherman instead of 8 ounces of it, right? So the plate itself for $20, $25 is menial in quantity compared to what you could actually buy those ingredients raw. And they're like, well, I don't have to cook it and that takes time. Unless you know how to teleport and they know how to fucking make food cook itself out of thin air. Somebody's cooking it and you're driving to that restaurant. Like, if you're at home, you're saving time by not driving to the place and waiting for somebody else to cook it. Likely you're multitasking. Instead of dicking off on your phone while you're sitting there at the dining restaurant, you're actually able to multitask. Like, make a fucking video yelling at the camera while you're also making your coffee or your food. Right? You're able to multitask because you're in your own environment and you don't have to drive. You don't have to spend your gas money and sit in traffic and potentially pay for public parking to dine at a restaurant. You know, like all of there's so many factors here that you guys have to realize. It's not just about food is expensive. When I buy food at the farmer's market, this receipt that I get is more than the receipt that I get at Safeway or at the diner. Like, zoom out. Be realistic with yourself. Be honest with yourself. You fucking know. You know. Be honest with yourself. Do the math. Zoom out. Do a 90-day audit on your income and expenses. Do a 90-day audit on all the bullshit that you're buying with your money. And then you say you don't have money to buy healthy food. Get out of here. You know that's bullshit. You know that's bullshit. Especially likely if you're watching this channel, you're not a peasant. You're not broke. You're likely the 1% of the world, right? Like, you live in America. You have a golden ticket, period, right there. I understand poverty. I grew up in it. I really grew up in it, and I understand that. And I broke that chain out of intention. And now I spend my money on healthy-ass food and not on other dumb shit, right? Like, it's a choice that you have to make, but don't lie to yourself and say it's too expensive. You know that's not true. Zoom it out. Like, come on, the stuff that you're buying, waste your money on is expensive. Alcohol is expensive. Candy, sugar, ice cream, sweets are expensive. There's no return on investment other than emotional comfort food. Okay, cool, whatever. You get to shut off your brain and escape and ignore your reality a little bit. The fact that you're spending your money and your time and your energy and your attention on shit that actually doesn't matter and isn't bringing you a return on investment. So you want to hide from that even more because you feel guilty and ashamed. That's okay. You got to start somewhere, but zoom out. Do an audit on yourself. Be realistic. Be honest. And sit down and do this math. Like, it's crazy when you start to add up. I'll use an anecdote. One of my clients lost 55 pounds in 5-6 months just eating real food, not exercising. Okay? Large human being. He had a lot of weight to lose, but he lost 50 pounds 5-6 months just by eating the dinners that I was cooking. I wasn't even training him at that point. I was just making him eat real food. And then a couple months go by, and he's somebody who audits himself on his income and expenses like a smart human being that's trying to generate wealth. And where attention goes, energy flows, results flow. And he goes, do you know what's crazy, man? I saved $600 this month on my credit card and I was able to use that money to pay off credit card debt because I wasn't eating out once or twice a day, every single day. You want to tell me that the farmer's market groceries are expensive, but you're going to lunch every day and spending $30 on your tab, which is light, right? That's an entree and one soda drink or whatever you're going to get, or one appetizer and one entree, $30. We're not thinking about tip here, maybe more. $30 times 30, that's $900 on lunch alone. Low quality lunch, low quantity lunch. You gotta drive there. Somebody else has gotta cook it. So you spent $900 to waste your time and not get nutritionally high quality food in your body. And I'm over here spending a couple $100 to feed myself 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. That's less than just the lunch. I'm spending about that much, let's say $1,000 to really round it up, $1,000 a month on food for every single meal of the highest quality and a lot of it to eat. And you're going to tell me that that's expensive when you're spending likely $1,000 a month on a shitty, tiny lunch. Crazy. Zoom out. Audit yourself. Be honest. Start to put some attention on where you're spending your money, especially in relation to your food, and then think about all the other things related to your health that cost money, like medical bills and so on. And you'll very quickly realize that spending your money on healthy food is one of the highest quality and best returns on investments that you can make for the rest of your life. We're not even talking about how you're going to live 20 years longer and have a higher quality of life because you're not going to be dealing with chronic disease when you get old and everything starts to putter down a little bit. Better to pay the farmer than the doctor. Make good decisions. Buy real food. It really will pay off. I'm telling you, do an audit and you'll see for yourself. I love you guys. This is all love. This is all love, passion and love. Jerf. Just eat real food.